Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of The Business Therapist. I'm your co-host, Chris Angel, and I'm here with your host, Arnell Tanyag. Hello, Arnell.
Hey, Chris. I'm looking forward to this episode. This is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think when we look at growing our business, one of the places we often will look is networking groups. But the problem is a lot of times we go to networking groups and we don't get sort of the results we want, or it doesn't feel good. It's just, and so we go, that was a waste of time. And then we miss a massive opportunity by checking out of networking groups. So finally, you get to dispel the myth, or you get to open our eyes to how to find what the best networking group really is. So how do we do that?
Yeah, I've realized over the last 20 years, I've seen network groups. I've been in many of them. Mm-hmm. And over the years, I categorize them in three.
Okay, three kinds.
Yeah. So there's free networking groups. There's meetup groups. There are events in Eventbrite, Facebook. Free network groups, somebody runs them. It could be weekly, monthly. It could be a one-off event. No cost to it. A bunch of people come. They're full-time, part-time, people who are doing stuff on the side. And people are like, is it good and bad? It all depends on what you want to look at. A lot of the people there don't have money, or they're trying to sell you. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing too is it's not industry specific. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of them I find out they're great people, but they're not strong business people.
Right.
They're starting out. They've just been told to network, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's a lot of free network groups. But to really, if you're in a specific target market or a specific price point, it's really hard to go to those, because you're going to find out very little people have the money or the need to do business. A lot of times they're just selling you on their service or product.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. Like oftentimes the event will attract the kind of person.
That's correct.
Right. Like if it's a free event, typically you're attracting people who don't have a lot of money to pay for things. And so those people are going to have a hard time affording your service. So it really does depend on what it is that you're trying to attract or what you're trying to accomplish with the event.
That's right. Okay. The second group I've seen is the groups that are built for networking, where you have to pay a price every month, and the whole meetings around networking. Like B&I is one. There's a local group here in Hampton Roads, FB. There's groups called Synapse, 211, Master Networks. You pay money every month. There's an agenda, or pay some type of form of payment. There's agenda, but it's all about networking. There's exclusivity, but their whole premise is networking. Some of them are designed to just pass referrals. Some of them are designed on a community activity, but they promise you pay money, you'll get business out of it. The pros and cons with that is meet weekly or monthly, one person per profession, and then you have to either they provide the training or you have to figure it out yourself. But it's all about the pressure of meeting other people, networking. Now, the good thing about it, I find out if you need a weekly structure like that, it works. Mm-hmm. The bad thing about it is, depending on where those networking groups are around networking, there could be a lot of pressure on you to perform. And there's not a lot of learning curve to learn, and you're just there to give referrals. And so I tell people, if you're going to do it, it's going to be, you got to get ready for the weekly meeting. You got to be able to give referrals and get referrals, and they may have a training, but it's a lot of pressure. And if you're a business owner who, because most business owners, there's two types: the ones who want to sell and don't want to sell. The ones who love to sell, they love to do network groups, but eventually when their business grows, they don't have any time.
Right.
And the ones who don't want to sell, but they know they need to network, will join those. They feel so much pressure.
Right.
Because so it's a pros and cons, and a lot of people do it. I think the challenge is you got to look at your business, and I find out that there's nothing wrong having a group of people refer you. If you have a good network with the right people, it's great. If it's part of a national organization, but I think it can suck up a lot of time if you don't know what you're doing.
Yep, it's good. I like it. That's so good, so smart. I think you always bring like I can depend on you for this. You always bring a good dose of humanity to the way you advise. It's not like it's bad. You just have to know who you are. Like if you're going to go to a group that has weekly structure, if you like the sell, then maybe that's a good experience for you. But if you don't, you're going to feel a lot of pressure and you probably won't stick it out. Like I love that you think that way, because that's what helps us make good decisions over here.
Yes.
As,
Because at the
as
end of the
your,
day, it's a preference. You know, I tell people you
right.
just have to choose.
It's good.
And the last one is it's the groups where networking is part of it, but it's not the all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like trade organizations, industry organizations, like Hampton Roads Realtor Association, Associated Builder Contractors,
Mm-hmm.
Tidewater Builders. I mean, those are specific trade organizations that have committees, that have social events. That's all where the movers and shakers go. Because if somebody in the industry is paying 500, 250, 300, serving on boards, paying
Right.
for that, you're meeting all the right people.
Mm-hmm.
And they network more of a support the industry, be
Mm-hmm.
involved, and and they network from an influence level and a respect for the industry. They're
Right.
putting time and effort. I like those groups because you're in a room where almost like if I was because I'm looking at joining some type of trade organization. If I'm in a room, there's like 30, 40 tradespeople and at different levels of growing their business. I'm like, man, I'm really happy. I'm in a room with all owners in a room that I
Yeah.
just have to serve them.
Yep.
I'll probably pick up clients that way.
Right. It's like it's a room full of your ideal clients. You're like, these
That's
people
correct.
are my people.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
That's really good. I love that. I hadn't really thought about that. And you're making my wheels turn a little bit now. Cause I'm thinking of like from these kinds of shows, like, working with service-based
Mm-hmm.
influencers, like I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I need to think about what associations, industries I need to become a part of to put myself in a room full of those people. But it's really smart, really strategic. So, okay. So yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, you have those, so you have these three kinds of groups, but you have kind of, I want to talk about the three criteria that you have for getting the most out of a group. So you told me the first one was your target market. Like first criteria is you got to know who your target market is in order to identify which of these three groups is the ideal fit for you.
Yes, because I realize you have to know your target market. So you have to realize I realize like mine is people who know their craft really well. So a lot of mine are contractors, service-based contractors, tradesmen. So, I was talking to several people. So, where's the local association of heating, VAC, heating, air conditioning, plumbing? How often do they meet? How much does it cost? I need to look at that kind of the meeting, probably join it. Because if I can get on the membership committee, I can talk to a bunch of people in there. That may be one because it's target market. It's people that have a need, probably can't afford what I do. And there's probably other vendors like me joining us too. So it could be a good win-win. So that I always look at target market first because, if you can sit in I'd rather sit in a room with 50, 60 target market people than sit in a room hoping I get one show up at a meeting.
Right. Yeah. So good. So we gave you the three kinds of networking groups to choose from. And now inside it, there are three criteria. And the first is, who is your target market? And so as you look at your different types of events, you want to go, is my target market going to be there?
That's correct.
That's the first one. Okay. The second criteria you told me was meetings outside of the main event. So if it's like a networking group that meets on a weekly basis, that's the main event. But do they meet outside of that?
So like, for example, like a trade organization, they have committees that meet throughout the year.
Yeah.
They have social events, they have professional workshops. So literally they have get on committees, you can serve on committees, you can attend the socials, you can attend the professional workshops. Well, you're going to meet all the people there. There's going to be visibility. So you get those people who are actively involved in committees, actively involved in helping the organization grow. Those are the people you want to meet and talk to because they're the movers and shakers. They're the givers. Right. So that's how you can access them and meet them. If there's, socials, if there's committees, are there professional workshops you can attend, you'll see those people, and you'll get to know them, you get to meet them, and you probably won't see them anywhere else unless you're in that association with them.
Yeah, that's really great. I love it. Okay, so when you find an organization or a group that has additional meetings outside the main event, that's more opportunity to network with the influencers. That's great. Okay, the third criteria you gave me was the form of communication. What does that mean?
Form of communication, they have to have some type of communication among the members, like an email, a magazine, a newsletter, something where it goes out to memberships. Like I've seen some organizations where they have a newsletter, an email newsletter, a physical newsletter that goes out to them, lets people know you can sponsor or you might write an article. An interesting thing to make any of the groups can be successful if you have 2 out of the 3. Ideally, if you have 3 out of the 3, it's a great group. If they have a newsletter going out, you can write an article to it. They have events, you can get on committees, they're target market. Then literally it's a trifecta. You got all of this. But if you have 2 out of 3, they'll still do well. If you only have 1 out of 3, it is really a waste of time.
Got it. That's so helpful. I love that. So when you say a form of communication like a newsletter or a magazine or a blog or something, are you saying that what's the goal? Is it for me to become a publisher inside of that, or to
like
advertise?
Hampton Roads, like the Hampton Roads Realtor Association here has a local magazine. So occasionally I get to write articles there. So that puts me in front of a lot of the people there.
Got it.
So some associations have like a newsletter where you might write an article, you might be able to sponsor something. Yeah. But if it's rare to find organizations that do that. They send something out to their membership. If they do, and they do it really well, and you can write an article or pay for a little advertising, that's still visibility. That's still great. If I had to choose, I'd rather have it target market and the committees and associations, because that's where I can meet the people, because that's when I can talk to them, sit down with them. Right. Because the face-to-face is still important. Yeah. And you probably won't get any, if you weren't in that organization, you probably won't have access to any of them at all, even if you met them out in the street. It just has a commonality, and you're serving together at some level. Yeah, it's really good. I love it. Good stuff. I like it. So this is, for those of you who have thought about networking groups, or you've been in them and they didn't work so well, or look, even if you're in one now and it's working well, I think you've been given some stuff that can help you make it work even better. I love that last piece about finding ways to get published inside of their existing communications. Yes. That's a gold mine if you really work that well. I love it, Arnell. I love how strategic you think about putting the pieces together. I think that's what makes you a great business therapist. People want to reach out to you and have them help you with their business, or even explore how you might be able to help them. Where can they go? They can just give me a call on my office number, which is 757-754-69. My 757-752-8169. Or they can just go to my website, which is www.tanyag.net. Perfect. I love it. Arnell, thanks for a great episode. I love that you're doing the show and all the ways you're helping businesses kind of build the dreams that they've been wanting to build. So good stuff. We'll catch you next time. Thanks. See you then.